Hi book besties! Welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing the book recommendation tag that was made by Steph Boher, and I hope I said her name right. I also was inspired to do this tag by one of my book besties, Alexandra. Go watch her video. She's amazing. I love her. And I also was so inspired by Raye. So I hope I said your name right too. So thank you for inspiring me to do this. I just loved the trend and I just kept watching everybody's recommendations. I was like, this is such a cutie trend. Let's get started. I'm so excited to be doing this. Let me pull out my phone so we can look at the questions because I'm a mess. A book you tell people is your favorite. That's kind of a hard question because if I talk to someone on Booksta or somebody who's so invested in books, I will say You Swear. I loved it. It was love triangle, friends to lovers. It was legit soulmates. It was a beautiful love story and I cried for 2 hours straight. That's how beautiful it was. And the characters in this book, especially Noah Riley, is a book boyfriend that I will forever be in love with. So many instances in the book, like you were just like, oh my God, everything is perfect. Everything he's feeling is perfect. Everything is like valid. Like there was not once in the book, at least, you know, in my opinion, that I was not like flipping the pages because I was like, point being, I'm just so in love with him and 10 out of 10 stars. 10 out of 10. Infinity out of 5 stars. Then if I'm talking to somebody like who doesn't read often and they're like, oh my God, Nicoletta, like what's your favorite book? This is also my favorite book. I want to reread this one so bad because I'm currently reading Things We Hide from the Light. Like, are we kidding? But now that I'm reading this, like, and it goes back and there's a little bit of Knox and Naomi, actually a lot of Knox and Naomi, which I truly appreciate. I just like, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that happened. Oh my God, you're right. Like what happened, you know? So I kind of like want to reread this one. This book was Small Town Romance. It was Grumpy Sunshine. This book's banter, the everything of this book is just to die for. And I was actually, I think, in a slump when I started reading this book. And I was like, oh my God, of course I'm picking up a 600 page book as my first like dive back into like books. But I sped read through this book and that's so unlike me. Like usually I'm like, all right, you know, but no, this is just amazing. Anyway, let's continue. Second question, a book that is your guilty pleasure. For that one, I kind of have like series that series plural, that's my guilty pleasure. So I have here the Mage series by Danielle Laurie, Mafia, dark romance, bad boys, but like also each woman's personalities were so great. This is obviously a little darker, so if you're not into dark romance, but I loved these books so much. Like I sped read through this series as well, and like I said, I don't really speed read through many series or as well as a book. Another guilty pleasure. These are another guilty pleasure of mine. They are the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. Why are they my guilty pleasure? Because hockey boys are my guilty pleasure, and this was the first hockey romance that I've ever read. But the two boys that hold my heart so near and dear, I love them. Garrett Graham, actually I came out of like a 2-month slump and I was like, fine, I'll read the deal. Excuse me. Like enemies to friends to lovers, his tutor, popular guy, not popular girl. It was just 10 out of 10, like holy beep. Cause I'm such a bad boy fangirl. Dean De Laurentiis, 10 out of 10. I just love this couple too. Can we just like, the couple in this book was like enemies again to friends to lovers, and it was hockey romance, and her name was Allie and she was Hannah's friend. So she was like a long-term relationship person and she never did flings, and Dean De Laurentiis was literally a player. He was one-night stander, like didn't commit himself into relationships. but you know. So I really enjoyed these books. They were more fun, more spicy, more flirty. I loved each and every single one of these books. I would recommend this series to literally anybody. If somebody were to ever ask me, Nicoletta, like, I want to read amazing books or an amazing series, and you know, they just want the fun, the flirty, the spicy, the, you know, the hot boyfriends, I would totally recommend these books. On to the next, shall we? I don't know why I developed accents. A book everyone loved but you didn't. I really did not like Twisted Love. And I wanted to love it because there was so much hype, there was so much talk, there was so much love, but I personally just didn't like it. I don't know, I was so upset. Like I feel I have FOMO. I really do. I don't have the book with me or else I would have shown it, but maybe I can be like crafty and put it here now that maybe I'll figure it out. I also didn't like The Love Hypothesis. I just don't know what it was. Like usually the thing is with books, and I find that I do this and maybe a ton of people can relate to me, but I feel like when you read a book and there's so much in your life happening, you don't really appreciate the book as much, and if you don't read it like in 3 sittings, like back to back, like you kind of lose the story, and I feel like that happens to me. No, because I'm so sad but I am finishing the Twisted series because I do hear great things about the rest of the books. So I'm really excited about continuing. I'm not a person that just stops. I'm a person that continues. So my nerves, like, am I okay? A book you read the fastest. A Not So Meet Cute. I read this in a day. I couldn't put it down because it was just, I don't know, perfectly done. Like, it made me laugh, it was spicy, it was fun. This book was fake dating. Like, I love fake dating. Anyway, fake dating, like the banter was like rom-com flirty. Like I laughed my ass off with like the things that she would say or he would say. It was like me thinking about it, can I stop? It was forced proximity. It was funny, cute, spicy. Huxley Kane is to die for. Like, I loved this book and I'm so excited to read the rest of the books in the series. I started to love romance books. Colleen Hoover was actually the girl that did it for me. It Ends With Us was the book that like made me fall in love with romance. So I was just on a kick with Colleen Hoover because I was like, oh my God, like I really like reading. I read November 9th in a day because I had COVID and I was like, I need something, you know, to keep me occupied, and I couldn't just watch TV all day. So November 9th and Ugly Love were 2 books that I flew through. Ugly Love, there's a lot of like hate or love with this book. It's never in the middle, I feel. I did love this book, but then again, we all have our own opinions. So please don't say, oh my God, like cut her out. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. And then November 9th, I did love this one. Honestly, I don't know if I would reread it because honestly my memory does escape me, but I do know that I read this book literally the fastest. It was such an interesting concept to a book. Like they would meet every November 9th. So it was just really interesting and I really loved that part of the story. Next question. A book that deserves more hype. The Simple Wild. It was the whole father-daughter aspect and the father-daughter duo in this book that had me sold as well. Not only Jonah and Kala and how he was grumpy and she was like something so out of character. I just loved that also, opposites attract. It's awesome, and I was literally in the nail salon reading the ending of this book and it had me sobbing. It was such a beautiful story. I just love this book in and out. I would recommend it to seriously anybody who just wants a beautiful story too. Why am I holding the book like this? A book that is becoming a movie or TV show. A show that I do want to read because of a book that I've read is Confess. And somebody told me that Confess was made into a show and I just didn't know. The storyline was so great. The tropes were single mother, friends to lovers. So yeah, this book had like a lot to unpack as it dealt with a lot of hardship. So I would definitely like look into the trigger warnings on this, and I'm excited to watch the show. Next on the question board. A book that you reread the most. Now this is really funny, but I am not a rereader. I will only read a book if I've forgotten it, like I just said, like Things We Never Got Over, like it's kind of like patchy for me, so I feel like I do want to read it before the third book comes out. And that I actually have reread once was Ugly Love. I just, like I said, was during COVID. I didn't have any more romance books and I was like, I need to read something. And I just read Ugly Love again. A book that deserves all the hype that it gets. This is the book that it deserves all the hype. I mean, this book had me devastated. It had my heart literally on like the Gravitron. The what? No. Because do you know the Gravitron? It spins you around until... This book had me on an emotional roller coaster. I was so in love with the characters in this book. I absolutely loved Archer. I really did. And I loved the relationship that both Archer and Bree had. Their love was like so special, and this book was like trauma comfort, friends to lovers, small town romance. It was just a beautiful love story, and I love books that have a lot of meaning, and this book did have a lot of meaning, so check it out. The next question was a book you usually recommend when asked to give a recommendation. And like I've said in previous minutes ago, I don't know the vibes of some people. So I feel like all around a book that I would recommend. It happened one summer. This book, I didn't know what I was getting into. I was like, obviously I read the summary and you read people's reviews and what was said, but you know, I was like, it happened one summer, it's June, let me pick it up. And I ended up picking it up and I flew through this one. It was a book that I loved the story because again, it was like opposites attract, small town romance, major character development on both ends of Piper and Brendan. Both characters were amazing and I loved reading about them. I loved their chemistry, I loved the sacrifices, I loved, like I said, the character growth. I am such a small town romance junkie, so this book was like Grumpy Sunshine, forced proximity as well. So I just love this book, and I think that's like the two that go together, like, you know, that I just love. I loved Forced Proximity, I love Grumpy Sunshine, I love Enemies to Lovers, I love banter, so like this was that, and I just loved it so much, so I would really recommend it to anybody. Why is my nose running? Am I catching a cold? A book you wish you could live in. I so would live here. No, because I have not read the other books yet, but my mom has, and she has said that it's amazing, and I just loved this book. So this was also like friends to lovers, I would say. In the beginning it was kind of like enemies to lovers, but then it was mostly a friends to lovers book. I loved how badass Winslow was. It was just awesome, and I loved the straightforwardness of Griffin, because I was like, all the books I've read, they're like, no, we can't. Like every single time, we can't. And I'm like, just sit. You want to, like, just do it. But this one was like, no, like, if I'm feeling it, we're doing it. And I'm like, this is what I asked. This is what we want, men. This is what we want. No games over here. Also, I want to live in this world. I want to live here. I want to live here actually the most. Knock 'em out. A book you thought you would hate but ended up loving. Love, in other words. I've heard such great things from so many people when they've read this book, but I could never, I don't know. I was like, fine, I'll read it, because it was like Child to Friends to Lover. This book was like a pull at my heartstrings, because I guess being in a long-term relationship with my boyfriend currently, this book brought them back in time when they were young, and I was like, oh, like, and I would think about my boyfriend and I when we were younger, so it just hit close to home. So I really did enjoy this book. It was just an amazing read, and look how cutie the cover is. So cutie. So it was just beautiful, and I seriously would recommend this to anyone too. Another book, because I do have another book, was Running Wild. But all my people that read The Simple Wild could understand why. I was like, fine, like, it's a part of the series, like, maybe Mary gets the benefit of the doubt. And I actually really like this book. If you are reading the Wild series, or did not read this book, I suggest you do. Like, honestly, I just like force myself to read books just because. Like, there has to be a meaning why, you know, Kay Tucker put this book in the Wild series, so I definitely like that one. A book that made you cry. Now, I don't like reading heavy books. I'm very much a rom-com, like, mention something sad, but like, you know what I mean? Like, Say You Swear was a book that, these are the 2 books that I've read that ripped my heart out. I guess I'm like emotional. I don't like feeling like this sad because you build such a relationship with these characters and like a love for them that seeing them, like, seeing yourself hysterically, like, you literally cry so hard. So this book made me cry the most, and this book also made me cry, but they were so beautiful. That's it. Like, I'm terrified. I have other books and I'm terrified to read them because people said they're sad and it will destroy me. I'll wait. I'll read a little more rom-com and then I'll read. I'm like, okay. Next up, the last question is a book that I could read for the first time. And this book is like, holds near and dear to my heart. Because it was the first book off of, like I said, my coho romance, like, time where I fell in love with romance. And Ella Mays was the first person that I dipped my toe into other romance authors. And because this book holds a special place in my heart and being the reason that, you know, I have become a part of the book community. To Love Jason Thorne, I wished I can reread it again. Why am I getting emotional? Anyway, I don't know why I'm getting sad. God, what the heck is happening? Anyway, I don't know what, anyway. To Love Jason Thorne was a book that is funny. Like, it's not even sad. Why am I crying? To Love Jason Thorne was a book that made me so excited to read other books. Like, as soon as I read this, I read the second one, or whatever, the other book in the series, To Hate Adam Connor, fell in love with that. Then like started branching out, like still reading a little bit of Colleen Hoover, but like starting to move on. I literally have not read a Colleen Hoover in such a long time because there's so many amazing romance authors out there. Yeah, I just like appreciate that book so much just because it just holds that kind of value in my heart. Then another book that I wish I could reread for the first time has to be The Deal. I just had my mouth open like, because I'm like, fine, you win, Garrett Graham. But no, this book literally made me so happy, and it made me like obsessed. Like, I was like, obviously after a book you were so obsessed, but like this book still has me obsessed, and that says a lot. So yeah, literally look at my mess. Thank you so much for watching. I know that I am someone who gets nervous and I come on here and I literally blabber and I'm all over the place, but I just want to let you guys know that I'm so happy to, like I always say, to be here and to be a part of this community. I am so happy to have such sweet and genuine people in my life, like you guys, that just comment and, you know, make my day, or just be like, Nicoletta, you're so funny. Like, I like appreciate anything. So that just being said, I'm always so emotional at the end of my videos a little bit. That being said, subscribe to my channel for more to come. Click the notification bell to get alerted when I post a new video, so that's fun. And follow my socials. There will be a little video at the end with my TikTok and my Instagram. Also in the descriptions of my YouTube videos, as I am getting in the hang of YouTube, I will add my Linktree, which has all my socials, my Goodreads, my Instagram, my TikTok, my Pango, which is a book selling app that I use to sell some of my books that I feel like I don't need anymore, and other fun things like my Amazon storefront, where you can see some of the things I love, my 5-star reads, books and book accessories, my tabs that I order, so anything like that. Thank you tons again. So excited to do this tag because I thought it was literally amazing. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had a absolutely wonderful day. Bye.